If you want a story about fame that feels both inspiring and deeply tragic at the same time, start here. A young man from a small town who grew up feeling out of place, who found his voice through music, who suddenly became the face of an entire generation, and who struggled to carry the weight of that role. His name was Kurt Cobain. This is the life of Kurt Cobain, told in a neutral way, focusing on his rise, his impact, and the pressures that came with global success. It is a story about creativity, identity, and the complicated reality behind fame. In this video, we'll count down 10 key facts about Kurt Cobain, from his early life in Washington to the moment his music changed the world and the lasting legacy he left behind. The goal is not to define him with a single narrative, but to understand how his life unfolded and why his story continues to resonate decades later. Fact 10. Cobain's early life was marked by instability, and it shaped the way he saw the world. Kurt Cobain was born in 1967 in Aberdeen, Washington, a small logging town with limited opportunities and a quiet, isolated atmosphere. His childhood changed dramatically when his parents divorced, an event that had a lasting emotional impact on him. He moved between different family members, struggled to feel settled, and began to withdraw socially. Over time, this instability created a sense of disconnection that would later appear in his music. For Cobain, identity was never simple, and from a young age, he felt like an outsider looking in. Fact 9. Music became both an escape and a way to communicate what he could not express otherwise. As a teenager, Cobain discovered punk rock, a genre that valued honesty, raw sound, and emotional expression over perfection. Bands in the underground scene showed him that music could be direct, imperfect, and still powerful. He began writing songs, experimenting with sound, and using music as a way to process frustration, confusion, and emotion. Over time, this became more than a hobby. Music gave him a sense of purpose, and eventually it gave him a voice that others would recognize. Fact 8. Nirvana started as part of a small local music scene, not a global ambition. In the late 1980s, Cobain formed Nirvana with bassist Chris Novoselic, and together they became part of the emerging Seattle music scene. At the time, they played small shows and released music independently. There was no expectation that this project would reach a global audience. The focus was on authenticity, not commercial success. But this underground foundation gave their music a raw quality that would later stand out when it reached mainstream listeners. Fact 7. The release of Nevermind changed the direction of rock music. In 1991, Nirvana released the album Nevermind, and with it came Smells Like Teen Spirit, a song that quickly gained massive attention. It captured a mood that many young people felt but had not clearly expressed. The sound, the energy, and the attitude connected instantly with a wide audience. Almost overnight, Nirvana moved from the underground scene into global recognition. This moment did not just change the band's trajectory, it shifted the music industry itself, bringing alternative rock into the mainstream. Fact 6. Cobain became the voice of a generation, even though he never wanted that role. As Nirvana's popularity grew, Cobain was often described as a spokesperson for his generation. His lyrics, interviews, and public image were interpreted as representing broader cultural feelings. However, he was uncomfortable with this label. He did not see himself as a leader or a symbol, and he resisted being defined in that way. The gap between how he was perceived and how he saw himself became a source of tension that never fully disappeared. Fact 5. Fame created pressure rather than stability. While success often brings security, for Cobain it introduced new challenges. Constant media attention, expectations from the music industry, and public scrutiny made it difficult to maintain a sense of normal life. He struggled with the loss of privacy and the feeling that his personal life was constantly being observed and interpreted. Instead of reducing his sense of isolation, fame often intensified it, creating a situation where he felt both highly visible and deeply disconnected at the same time. Fact 4. His music reflected real emotional struggles. Cobain's lyrics were often abstract, but they carried a strong emotional core. Themes of alienation, confusion, and discomfort appeared frequently in his work. Listeners connected with this honesty because it felt genuine rather than constructed. His voice communicated vulnerability in a way that stood out in mainstream music. At the same time, these themes reflected personal struggles that were not easily resolved, and the line between expression and reality was often blurred. Fact 3. Health issues and personal challenges added to the complexity of his life. Cobain experienced ongoing physical discomfort, including chronic stomach pain, which he struggled to treat effectively. Over time, he turned to different coping mechanisms that complicated his situation further. These challenges existed alongside the demands of touring, recording, and maintaining a public presence. The combination of physical issues, emotional pressure, and constant attention created a situation that became increasingly difficult to manage. Fact 2. His death became a defining moment for an entire generation. In April 1994, Kurt Cobain died at the age of 27, an event that shocked fans around the world. It marked the end of Nirvana and left a significant impact on the music industry. For many people, his death symbolized the end of a particular era, one defined by raw expression and alternative culture. It also brought attention to the pressures faced by artists and the complexity of mental health, especially in the context of sudden global fame. Fact 1. Kurt Cobain's legacy continues to influence music and culture. Despite his relatively short career, Cobain's influence remains strong. Nirvana's music continues to reach new audiences, and his approach to songwriting has shaped countless artists. He is often remembered for his authenticity, his willingness to express vulnerability, and his resistance to being defined by expectations. At the same time, his story serves as a reminder that success and recognition do not eliminate personal challenges. Kurt Cobain's life is not just a story about music. It is a story about identity, pressure, creativity, and the complicated reality behind fame. That is why his story continues to matter. So there you have it, 10 facts about Kurt Cobain, told in a way that focuses on context, impact, and the deeper story behind the headlines.